And tonight we're going to talk about federal judge Salas over in New Jersey being targeted by a crazed gunman. We know now is a feminist crazed gunman who has stalked many other potential victims and possibly is wanted for another murder that happened in a similar fashion in California. Guys, my name is DutyRon, retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. So please, guys, again, share this onto your social media. Invite your followers and people who you share these streams out with. I greatly appreciate my channel members, my Patreon supporters, all of my moderators, and all the great people who subscribe to this channel. I greatly appreciate you guys. So again, we have a situation over in New Jersey, which happened yesterday. A lone gunman posing as a FedEx delivery person rang the doorbell of Judge Salas over in New Jersey. She's a federal judge who sits on the bench in Newark, New Jersey. This gunman shot her husband and her son, killing her 20-year-old son, wounding her husband, putting him in critical condition in the hospital. And today up in Liberty, New York, that's upstate, way up New York, we have law enforcement up there who found a person who suffered from a self-inflicted gunshot wound wearing a Federal Express uniform. Again, reports are sketchy about what happened here, but I got to tell you, there is a case over in California where this same type of perpetrator, same type of MO, the method of operation, FedEx uniform, FedEx vehicle, knock at the door, shot and killed another person. So this is going to be a interesting case to cover. It's going to change rapidly, but basically her son Daniel, who was 20 years old, died from gunshot wounds, who died from gunshot wounds sustained during this attack. Now, it's obvious that this was a targeted attack on this judge by a crazed lawyer from California. It is not a professional hit. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now with my professional 20-year experience. This is not a professional hit. This is a crazed psycho who has deep hatred to feminist movements. He argued in her courtroom that ladies' night, that the ladies shouldn't get free drinks. That's how crazy this guy was. So what we're dealing with here, hello Paul Peck Drywall, hello to the Glera, and all my great friends here, Joshua H in the building, Meg Lowe, Princess Michelle. This is a crazed lone gunman, and this is a person who is a complete lunatic and nut. This is not a Jeffrey Epstein. This is just coincidental that she was overseeing the whatchamacallit, not the criminal part of it, but the lawsuit part with the plaintiffs being paid out. So this had nothing to do with the criminal aspect of Jeffrey Epstein. So those theories that are swirling about this was Hillary Clinton's people coming to kill this federal judge, that's a bunch of hogwash. Don't buy into that narrative. That is not what this is at all. She was just handling the mass lawsuit. The bunch of plaintiffs got together and they were paying out his victims. So she just recently took that on. It was a class action lawsuit. That was the words that I was looking for. I had a little bit of a bump in the road with the brain, but that's what she was sitting on, not the criminal case of Jeffrey Epstein. So never fear. Guys, let me just cue this up. This is going to give you a good idea of what's going on in this case. So give me 2 seconds and let me get this set up for you guys and listen up. This is a general synopsis of the case out of New Jersey.
Deepens over why the
Stand by.
first Hispanic U.S. District Court judge in New Jersey was targeted at her home in North Brunswick. Investigators believe a lawyer known for being active in anti-feminist cases opened fire on Judge Esther Salas's family, killing her 20-year-old. Tonight, the mystery deepens over why the first Hispanic U.S. District Court judge in New Jersey was targeted at her home in North Brunswick. Investigators believe a lawyer known for being active in anti-feminist cases opened fire on Judge Esther Salas's family, killing her 20-year-old son and injuring her husband. We've got more now from CBS's Meg Oliver.
Tonight, investigators are working to piece together what motivated a man to pose as a FedEx driver and ambush the New Jersey home of federal judge Esther Salas.
She has 2 victims there.
After an intense manhunt, police say the suspect was Roy Denhollander, discovered dead in his car today, dressed in a FedEx uniform. Authorities say he had shot himself. They also found a package addressed to the judge.
2 patients, one is a trauma code.
On Sunday afternoon, Denhollander allegedly opened fire at her front door, hitting her husband, Mark Anderl, and killing their 20-year-old son, Daniel. Marion Costanza is their neighbor.
I wanted people to know. I mean, this was the only child. She's not going to have any children.
Denhollander was an attorney with a case currently before Judge Salas.
Ladies' Night is violating a fundamental right.
The self-described anti-feminist even
Okay, so this is the crazy guy. This is okay. Again, you heard it. You heard it here on DutyRon. There is no conspiracy theory where this has anything to do with someone coming to professionally take out a federal judge. This is the lunatic right here on the right, who was arguing over the feminists. He was angry at the feminist movement, and he's a judge. He's a lawyer, and he argued that on Ladies' Night, why do women get free drinks? You'll hear it. You'll hear it right here. This guy's a complete loon.
appeared on Fox TV once opposing drink specials on Ladies' Night, saying they're not fair to men. For Judge Salas,
Ladies' Night is violating a fundamental right.
the self-described Denhollander was an attorney with a case currently before Judge Salas.
Ladies' Night is violating a fundamental right.
The self-described anti-feminist even appeared on Fox TV once opposing drink specials on Ladies' Night, saying they're not fair to men.
It was just a gut punch of magnitude.
Family friend, neighbor.
I wanted people to know. I mean, children.
Denhollander was an attorney with a case.
All right, this is the face of a evil, sick, twisted, possibly suffering from mental illness. If I had to bet my pension on it, I would say this guy is suffering from a chemical imbalance. He's a complete and utter lunatic, and he went off the deep end. DJ Beats, great to see you. He went off the deep end and killed perhaps 2 people, because there's another victim in California. We'll get to that in a minute. So he killed her son. He shot the husband, and if she answered the door, he would have definitely shot her. But he did kill. They're checking ballistics, because unbeknownst to a lot of people, the ballistics out of a firearm has specific characteristics where you could trace ballistics back to a firearm. So if they could trace the gun that they recovered that he killed himself with to the gun that was used at the location in New Jersey and at the location in California, now we have 2 murder cases closed. But this guy's a complete lunatic.
Currently before Judge Salas.
Ladies' Night is violating a fundamental.
She's not going to have it.
Was an attorney with a case currently before Judge Salas.
Ladies' Night is violating a fundamental right.
The self-described anti-feminist even appeared on Fox TV once opposing drink specials on Ladies' Night, saying they're not fair to men.
It was just a gut punch of magnitude.
Family friend Mayor Mac Womack said Mark Anderl loved talking about his son.
He talked about him a lot.
I got constant reports how he's doing. He was his biggest source of pride in Mark's life.
Judge Salas oversaw a number of high-profile cases in her courtroom,
Including the Teresa Giudice. She handled this case where she went to jail for tax evasion at the hands of her piece of shit husband. But that's another story.
that included cast members of The Real Housewives of New York. Saw a number of high-profile cases in her courtroom that included cast members of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Deutsche Bank, and Jeffrey Epstein. The judge's
Let me just clarify, the Jeffrey Epstein case, she did not handle the criminal part of it. She handled the class action lawsuit part. So before we get ahead of ourselves and we buy into the conspiracy theories that she was targeted because of Jeffrey Epstein, I want to put that to bed right here, right now. So for those of you who know me, those of you who are friends with me, you heard it from me. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you that I'm wrong. But I'd have to tell you right now, I did a little bit of research and a little bit of poking. She was handling the class action lawsuit part of it, not the criminal part.
husband remains in the hospital. Their son was a rising junior at Catholic University and wanted to follow in his parents' footsteps and become a lawyer. Tonight, the university is holding an online memorial in his memory. Nora?
Meg Oliver, thank you.
That's where we're at with this. This is nothing. Nobody here is a winner. She's now, her only child is taken from her by a crazy gunman. Her only child has been removed from her and killed by a crazed gunman. And, you know, this is just, nobody's a winner here. You know, mental health is a huge crisis in America. And because of the protests and riots behind George Floyd, don't think that that has gone away. That is still waiting in the wings and is a clear and ever-present danger to our society. People that have access to firearms, whether it's legally or illegally, if they have mental health issues, it is a big, big problem, guys. It's a real huge problem. One more clip for you guys before I go. Stand by.
Linked to the crime, found dead in Sullivan. Now to a murder investigation that spans multiple states. The family of a judge shot at their New Jersey home and a man possibly linked to the crime found dead in Sullivan County. And tonight we're learning that the suspect may be linked to a murder all the way on the West Coast. We have team coverage on this story. We'll begin with our chief investigative reporter, Jonathan Dienst, part of the team that broke the story for us yesterday, and he's been on it today. Jonathan?
David, the FBI says he was targeting the judge and her family and perhaps a lawyer in California last week, too. Those who knew him described him as an oddball attorney. And in his writings, he raged against women and joined anti-feminist groups on Facebook. And he voiced anger at federal Judge Esther Salas before he allegedly went to her New Jersey home yesterday. This is attorney Roy Den Hollander, and law enforcement officials say he was found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound near Liberty, New York this morning. And it was yesterday, the FBI and U.S. Marshals believe, Hollander showed up at the home of federal Judge Salas. There, police say he shot and killed her son, wounded her husband. The judge was not injured. Hollander appeared in front of the judge last year in a fight over whether the military draft can be men only. The suspected killer later called the well-respected judge, quote, a lazy and incompetent Latina judge appointed by Obama. Hollander also wrote of his hatred of his own mother and other women and raged about female judges.
Okay, so you guys get what I'm talking about here. He is he hates women. This is not a black, white, or any type of issue. This is a man who is suffering from mental illness, and he hated his own mother. That's not sounding like a stable person. That sounds like an educated whack job that has lost his fucking mind. And that's what was going on. And the unfortunate part is that the federal government got death threats against this judge in the past. I don't know how long in the past, but federal government was aware that she had death threats against her, and there was no security detail. It was only after her son and her husband was injured, her son was killed, that the Department of State put a security team out in front of her house. A little bit too late, if I don't mind saying, a little bit too late. You can't save somebody after they're dead. So just unfortunate.
Neighbors in North Brunswick saddened by the shooting, called a competent Latina judge appointed by Liberty, New York this morning. And it was yesterday, the FBI and U.S. Marshals believe, Hollander showed up at the home of federal Judge Salas. There, police say he shot and killed her son, wounded her husband. The judge was not injured. Hollander appeared in front of the judge last year in a fight over whether the military draft can be men only. The suspected killer later called the well-respected judge, quote, a lazy and incompetent Latina judge appointed by Obama. Hollander also wrote of his hatred of his own mother and other women and raged about female judges. Neighbors in North Brunswick saddened by the shooting, calling the judge and her family wonderful people.
His family was a tight family, just close, loving, doting parents.
In addition to the upstate search, the FBI searching Hollander's Manhattan apartment for evidence, including perhaps a delivery or FedEx uniform used by the shooter at the judge's New Jersey home. The FBI believes Hollander's violent rampage may have started last week in California. There, a 52-year-old men's rights lawyer, Mark Angelucci, was shot and killed, also apparently by a man in a FedEx or delivery uniform.
Okay, I guarantee you that this is the guy in that case. I would almost put my pension on that. These are not common things that do happen. They do happen. People do dress as delivery people, UPS, post office, FedEx. But it's just way too coincidental that that this guy pulls this off, and then just a week prior, there was a similar instance. The only thing that throws me off a little bit is that he killed someone who's fighting for men's rights. So, you know, he might, you know, obviously he might have been so far whacked out that he was just targeting anybody. So let's just see.
Not knowing that there was an assassin.
Including perhaps a delivery or FedEx uniform used by the shooter at the judge's New Jersey home. The FBI believes Hollander's violent rampage may have started last week in California. There, a 52-year-old men's rights lawyer, Mark Angelucci, was shot and killed, also apparently by a man in a FedEx or delivery uniform.
Not knowing that there was an assassin at the door, went and got Mark from his office. He saw the gun, turned, tried to run away, and was shot in the back 4 times.
Angelucci had also argued a case involving the question of drafting men only for the military. The FBI again searching his Manhattan location at this hour. Anyone with information has to call the FBI at 973-792-3001. This is the FBI and U.S. Marshals are in the process of warning judges and others in the legal community who in the past crossed paths with Hollander in case he had been keeping some kind of hit list. In the newsroom, Jonathan Deans, News 4.
Jonathan, thank you. And our team covered stretches to the area of the Catskills where, as we say, the suspect's body was found. News 4's Adam Cooperstein covering that for us near Liberty. Adam?
Yeah, David, at this rural police station 140 miles away from that crime scene in New Jersey, you've got the FBI, U.S. Marshals, local law enforcement all gathered right now searching that suspect's vehicle. And we're told the evidence they found is revealing. Here's a look from Chopper 4 this afternoon. It's about 15 miles north of here near Campground, where law enforcement sources say the body of Roy Den Hollander was discovered this morning. Those sources say the gun found at the scene is similar to the gun used in yesterday's shooting and may be a match based on ballistics. They also say they discovered files near the body.
So like I said, the ballistics, each handgun, I know for a fact, the barrel puts out a footprint. It's almost like a fingerprint. And the ballistics, when they talk about ballistics, you can match it up, caliber, you know, if it was a 9mm that was used in New Jersey and they found a 40 cal, you wouldn't have a match. But 2 9mm are, you know, each one is going to leave a separate ballistic footprint in the actual, not the shell casing, but the actual round that comes out of it. The barrel has grooves on the inside, and they can match up those grooves to individual serial numbers. So that's the interesting part. Hi, Shelly. Good to see you, Meglo. Sandra Beadle. Thank you so much, Gayla. I'm not sure of the town in California. At this point, I didn't go that far. But this is, again, mental illness knows no boundaries. And the way this guy's thinking is not clear and concise. This is a very scrambled, deranged person. So we can't think from a rational side to say, wait a minute, he went after a women's rights federal judge, and now he went after this guy that was battling for men's rights. You know, the guy could be in such a bad mental state that, you know, there's many times where I've dealt with emotionally disturbed people on many different levels and many different variations where they just, nothing made sense to what they did. There was no rhythm or rhyme to it. When they're in that psychotic moment, or if they're in, like, bipolar people can be, you know, like we know, can be calm and cool-headed 1 minute, and the next minute they're flying off the handle. We don't know what this guy was suffering from, but obviously he was not mentally sound. So don't get too caught up in the contrast between men and women.
It appear to be research about not only Judge Salas, but others. And that includes, we've now learned, Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals and State of New York, Janet DiFiore, who's also the former Westchester District Attorney. So that evidence, along with Hollander's history raging against women, being a men's rights attorney, has authorities confident connecting him to that awful shooting yesterday at the doorstep of Judge Salas in New Jersey. And on top of that, if he had other targets or what may have caused him to allegedly take his own life, that right now remains unclear. Reporting.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, people who are suffering from mental illness, as we all know, it's not their fault. They can't control it. You know, we like to say, you know, I think most families can say that, you know, we have one or two or maybe more people in our families who suffer from mental illness on many different levels, some severe, some in the middle, some very minor. But you want to shake the person and tell them snap out of it, but it's not fair to even do that because they can't correct it. It's a chemical imbalance. It's something that I've learned over the time of being a police officer and a detective, that, you know, mental illness is, when it's gone untreated, even treated, if the medication is not taken a proper way, you're still going to get a negative result. So there's so many people, and I only realized this after I became a police officer. I was 26 years old, and I didn't know the enormity, the amount of problems that we have in our country. So, you know, it's never a clear-cut and dry case when it comes to this. There's different variations. So, guys, I'm using the new camera. This is the Sony ZV-1. I'm hoping that this is a good picture for you. It's starting to get a little dark. I have the lighting set up. So I just wanted to come live and bring you this case with Judge Salas, a very, very sad situation. My heart and my prayers go out to her and her family. Her husband is going to be, hopefully will recover, and they're going to have lost their only son. You know, when you're an only child to a parent and they lose an only child, and any parent losing a child, no matter what, is devastating. But to be an only child at, you know, she's not going to be able to have any more kids at her age, you would think. This is a very, very difficult thing. So I'm sending out a lot of prayers and positive vibes out there to the community. All the judges are now on high alert. Listen, our country is it's not put on pause because of everything that's going on. There's still all of these situations that are out there. There are people who are strung out on drugs, who are alcoholics, who are suffering from mental illness. And this compounded with all the stuff going on in Portland, Oregon, and in New York City, and in all of our major cities, we got a lot of things going on. So, you know, we just have to keep this into the forefront. So again, I want to say thank you to my channel members, all my Patreon supporters, all of my moderators, and all the people who subscribe. If you're not following me on social media, all one word, DutyRon, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, go and subscribe to my Facebook crime and police chat group. Go and check out my YouTube video share group. And I really appreciate all the content creators and all of the watchers, all the people who watch me. I really, really appreciate the thumbs up and the comments that you guys leave down below. Go and check out my Patreon and my members only. The members only is a really great thing. I did a live stream last night with just the members only, so consider checking that out. And yeah, appreciate everybody participating in the channel. So again, DutyRon, retired New York City police detective, 20 years in law enforcement, and I will be back live to cover breaking news and different stories throughout the United States. I am going to cover the Portland, Oregon craziness that's going on there. I'll give you a live of that this week, and I got a couple other tricks up my sleeve for you guys. So a lot of love and respect from New York City. Thank you so much for being in here. I hope you enjoy the new setup with the new camera and all of the goodies that we got going on. 1:15 here. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like. Thank you, Debbie. I greatly appreciate that. Shelly B, that's family right there. There's Shelly from Tennessee, my great, great, great sweet pea. Thank you so much for coming, and that super love, super sticker. I love it. Look at that with the heart. Thank you so much. Glera, I appreciate you. Everyone go check out the Glera. He's a really good, cool guy, and he has his own channel. Go check out Joey Brooklyn, all the great ones. Meg Lowe, Liz, thank you so much. You stay well. Inner Peas, thank you for being in here. Boxing MMA, all the way from Ireland, checking in. I appreciate you right back, brother. Cheers to you. Jorge is here, and Dr. Picano is here as well. Thank you so much. Brenda, Beth Higgs, Video Chimp, good to see you. Great picture, so clear. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. This is a good upgrade, so I'm glad I did go and take that expense on this camera. It was well worth it. Thank you so much. Sandra, thank you. Red Like Wine, great to see you. Have a good night. Paul Peck Drywall, there's 105,000 subscriber channel, or give or take a few 100,000. Go check out Paul Peck Drywall. He's a great one. I can't wait to get the hat or the shirt, whatever he sent to me. Can't wait to wear that on my live stream. Paul Peck Drywall, 100,000 plus subscribers. A great channel. Go follow him if you want to learn everything drywall. So Paul Peck, thank you. Scout Inquirer, I'll talk to you soon. Love and respect from New York City. Love you right back, Glera. Thanks a lot. Good night from New York.